Alright guys, just today going to talk about Spanish, and I'm going to start structuring the channel a bit more. In the sense, I do know I go off on tangent too much, but I do think it's worth structuring things in a more professional manner. But I just want to do a little update on my Spanish learning. The first thing is what I use. I use Duolingo, I use Memorize, and I started using something called iTalk. I think it's iTalk or iTalk. But anyway, April's mother was ill yesterday, so we ended up at the hospital. And one little bit of information: even though she had her own private health insurance for travel, they still want a €250 deposit until they get paid. So it's €250 out the bank. But moving on from that, I was sat in the what do you call it? The reception, the waiting room, and I was going through my Memorize. I've done my Duolingo, onto the Memorize, and I'm just going through it, all the questions, whatever. And the guy next to me, Nestor, he said, "Do you speak English?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then we struck up a conversation because he said about using this iTalk. Now, first thing is that I've now got another language partner, in the sense that Nestor wants to learn English, and obviously I want to learn Spanish, and we're now communicating for learning each other's languages. Second thing is, he knew somebody that may have a job offer, so there's another thing that comes out of these connections with languages, but also for other things. That I ended up contacting somebody in Los Montesinos about a work related to carpentry. So the point being is, the network expands, and the more people you know, the more opportunities you may have. But also, as you start to get more Spanish friends, you then spend time with more people that speak Spanish, and you improve your Spanish. Now, that's the first part. So then I went on to iTalk. iTalk, I was looking for Nestor to join him on. I couldn't find him on there, so it linked up through Facebook. But I found 5 other people that I connected with. I went through and I looked at different profiles. I recommend not looking for a hot date or something. It's not a dating site. What I look for is people of a similar age group or a bit older, that have a business capacity or focused on learning the language. The reason being is I want to learn Spanish, and I've had experiences before where some people go, "Oh, I want to learn Spanish," okay, and they're a bit younger, so they do it for 2 weeks, then they quit. I'm actually looking for people that I can use my time to my best advantage as well as theirs, which is basically, I want people actually going to commit to doing a couple hours a week or whatever. And the reason I contacted 5 people is not everybody's available the same day. So until you start speaking to people, you can sort of schedule in when you're going to talk to people, because some people might be during the day, some people at evenings, some people every weekend. The point being is, you're trying to network with people that you can get as much out of the Spanish language as possible, and they'll get a lot out of your English. So that works really well. So I met a contact on there called Irene, and I was talking to Irene yesterday, and she was very good on the typing and stuff, and she said, "You know what? Yeah, I hope you've got a lot of patience, because when you're speaking, it's more difficult because, she hasn't had much experience." And I said, "Look, I've got exactly the same problem in Spanish. The thing is, I don't need to speak that much in Spanish here, because most of the time it's good morning, good afternoon, how are you? It's very short sentences or phrases specific to what we're doing. You order your coffee. Do you want more milk? It's all that sort of stuff. It's not really in depth, which is why I need to expand it out, because my vocabulary is around 400 words and a mix of all sorts of sentences. But my conversation is very near non-existent in that sense, because I don't communicate that much with people at that level. We don't sit and discuss how the kids are doing at school or that sort of stuff, because everybody's normally going somewhere. So the point being is, we want to get work here. I need to get the conversation up. And the conversation side also, I want to add to that speaking with a few people, Nesta mentioned it, but also there's a few people I know that speak Spanish, can't read and write it. The point being is, conversation's the strongest one. And then, like myself, with computer literacy and stuff, I need the reading and writing for trying to get work from the Spanish side. But even then, if I was on the computer, I'd work it out anyway. You Google Translate, whatever, till you get your head around it. But the majority of stuff is going to be conversation. So that's what I'm saying, is it's worth focusing on that. Now, the vocabulary stuff, I've got to admit, you start to memorize a lot of it without realizing it. And that's one of the things I will say with memorize. I am finding that I know a ridiculous amount of words now. But like I was saying to April last night, I was sitting there and it gives you the mixed up letters and you've got to work out what the word is. And a lot of the time, I just know it. And sometimes it's a case of, I know the word, but don't know why I know it. So you can actually just put it in, but it's not actually logged in a way that you're deciphering it. It's already that word. So that's part of learning. Just be aware of that. You may be thinking, this isn't working, I'm not getting anywhere with this. And then you sat there and you go, okay, well, that's that. But I don't seem to be learning anything. You are. It's being absorbed, but it may not be recalled in a way, easy way to decipher, in the sense that you just know it. The same way as you know stuff in English or whatever. You don't recall it in the sense of what is what. You know what is what, but you don't know why what's what, unless you're talking descriptive. But the point being is, it's just in your head, and that's the point. The words are starting to stick like that now, and sentences even. So the point being is, it's working. And the reason I want to bring this video up today is, you've got to combine different things to get to a reasonable standard. I wouldn't recommend just sitting on Duolingo. Duolingo I found useful on the train because you can start it. Duolingo I find good for locking in conversations and sentence structures and stuff, because it's very, very repetitive. Memorize I find very good for similar things, but also because it has the video feed of the different people, you've got different accents, different speeds, different tones, noise in the background. So you're starting to break down the sentence structure that people are talking to you. So even if you don't get all of the sentence, you still know what it means. Because sometimes it is a bit like that, because people talk very fast here. But one of the things I did mention to Irene yesterday is we found people speak slower when we went up to Valencia. So I don't know if it's just where we are, who knows. But the point being is, you will get there. And the reason I want to re-emphasize this is, I know a lot of people start language and then stop. What I say is, if you're getting bored of it, just drop the hours down. Just do, because I know a lot of people go, I'm going to do 5 days a week, I'm going to do this, going to do that. And by week 3, I'm bored, I don't think it's going anywhere. What you need to do is stop doing it 5 days a week for an hour, and maybe do 15 minutes a day. And then if you get bored at the weekend or sat somewhere, because